Welcome to Friday Focus with Dr. Stu. This is episode 4, and today we're talking about life after death. Now, I know this is a challenging subject because none of us has any scientific evidence that proves the existence of life after death. But on the other hand, we don't have enough scientific evidence to prove that life after death doesn't exist either. So if I'm going to take a chance, I find it a good idea to live this life as if there's an eternity to gain. And as a follower of Christ, that means that everything I do and say and meditate on has eternal significance. Last Sunday at the Gathering of Champions, we talked about a man who was given the opportunity to follow Jesus. Jesus told him to sell his belongings and donate to the poor, but the man had great wealth, and unfortunately, the wealth also had him. So he just couldn't do it. There was something about having more than everyone else that made him feel special. Not only did he have more, but he also most likely had better, newer, and faster. And we said that his lifestyle was one that was focused on being better than his neighbor, as opposed to helping his neighbor be better. The disciples, however, they were astonished because this was a pretty good fellow who apparently appeared to be blessed by God because of his things, but he wasn't qualified to follow Jesus. So looking at his outward appearance as a successful, highly pious, and a distinguished gentleman, they asked, who then can make it into the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus responds, in your own strength and in your own ability, none of you can. But if you trust in and if you depend on God, you'll be all right. And as expected, Peter, the most outspoken of the disciples, blurts out, well, what about us? We have left everything to follow you, Jesus. And so when you read Matthew chapter 19, Jesus doesn't deny that. But what he does say seems to have provided a great deal of comfort and reassurance to the disciples. And I hope his words will do the same for you. Let's read it together. In verse 28 of chapter 19, Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone who has left houses or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or fields for my sake will receive 100 times as much and will inherit eternal life. But many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. Now, let's not confuse what we just read here. The 12 thrones that Jesus is speaking of, they belong to the disciples who followed Jesus during his earthly ministry. Everyone else who has denied themselves to follow Jesus, like you and me, will inherit not only eternal life, but more than what we can have ever received on our own, even in this world. But those who live for now and do anything for now will be last in the kingdom of heaven. And those who live for God and do whatever he asks faithfully, well, they are storing up riches in heaven, even if they don't seem to have anything and everything right now. But now it's temporary. Most of us might get 75 or 80 years of life, but all of us get eternity. And how eternity looks will differ based on the treasures that we've stored up in the heavenly realm. So I hope the work that I do in this life builds enough equity for an eternity. According to Jesus, I'll need God's help with that. And so will you. Listen, that's all for today. Thanks for joining me for Friday Focus. Don't forget to like, to comment, and share this video with someone you love. I'll see you at the next Gathering of Champions, Sunday at 9:30 and 11:15. I'm Dr. Stu, wishing you a blessed and highly favored week.